Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My
Good
name,
afternoon.
well, my name is Dr. Keith Mai, and to my right, I have Dr. Tian Jiping, and
Oh,
we also had Dr. Huang Shuihong invited today, but unfortunately she could not make it to some personal reasons. And we would like to discuss pathways to medical laboratory science. As you can see, we are the academic team for the Applied Biomedical and General Sciences subject group. And our programs are generally related to the medical laboratory science field. And supporting us, we have a strong technical team and an administrative team that work together to provide a good learning experience to all of our students. So, what is a medical laboratory technologist? Medical laboratory technologists are professions in Hong Kong um, under the Supplementary Medical Professions Ordinance, and medical laboratory technologists are uh, certified by the MLT board, and they are persons trained in the practice of processing clinical, medical, legal, public health, or veterinary samples for making analysis and examinations for all matters of human and animal consumption in vitro. So uh, there are four main disciplines in the medical laboratory science. First, we have hematology and serology. Um, so in Chinese, it's 血液學同血精學. This is the discipline that is focused on blood disorders and blood diseases. So in Hong Kong, maybe some commonly found is anemia or leukemia. And if you ever have donated blood before, then you know that you have to do some blood matching, and that is done by the serology department, also known as the blood bank. So second field is the medical microbiology, 醫學微生物學. And I think everyone here is very familiar with COVID-19. These are the MLTs that are responsible for the diagnosis of COVID, and also other viruses and bacteria that are commonly found in the hospital environments, and also fungi. Next, we have clinical biochemistry. So I think clinical biochemistry is what you're most familiar with if you think of a lab test or medical lab test. So if you look at maybe blood glucose or liver function or kidney function tests, so these are all tests that are done by these medical laboratory technologists. And finally, we have histopathology and cytology. And they are the ones responsible for the study of diseased tissues under a microscope. So, for example, if you go into surgery and the surgeon wants to cut out the tumor, maybe a cancer tumor, then they send that portion to the med labs, and they will be able to see if they have done the surgery cleanly, they have taken out all of the diseased tissues, and that's done by the histopathology department. And the cytology department looks at individual cells. Maybe if ladies have done a pap smear, then that would be sent to the cytology department. So looking forward to the future of medical laboratory technology. So besides the four main disciplines of the med lab science, the genetic screening has also become a more integral part of modern medical laboratory diagnostics. For example, PCR-based methods. I think if you've looked at the news recently for COVID, you've heard of something called the CT values. And that is a value based on the RT, or real-time PCR tests. There's also the cytogenetics and sequencing, which is more commonly done nowadays for maybe the cancer diagnosis and to provide personalized medicine. And these are all tests that are probably going to be more common in the future for medical laboratory technologists. And finally, because of all these new methods, we will see that there's more information that's being processed. And so bioinformatics analysis is going to be more commonplace. So rather than solely working in a wet lab, future medical laboratory technologists would probably be expected to do more dry lab processing as well, including looking at databases and computer programming. So that's it for a general overview of the medical laboratory science field. So let's take a look at what types of career pathways there is for a medical laboratory technologist. So this is a chart for looking at the progression for a MLT in HA hospital, hospital authority hospital. So generally, we start off as a laboratory assistant, and they will take certain programs to get the MLT license to practice as a medical laboratory technologist, and they can progress into an associate medical technologist. And after a certain number of years, and I guess depending on the availability of positions, they can progress into a medical technologist and later a senior medical technologist. And these are all part of the technical team in a hospital. But certain MLTs may decide to go into a more administrative role, which they can go into department manager or laboratory manager roles. And possibly they could also go into a scientific role, in which case they can apply to be scientific officers. And generally, the whole department is overseen by a pathologist. So next, we will go into the programs that we offer related to the medical laboratory sciences. So the first program we have is Diploma in Laboratory Science. So Diploma in Laboratory Science is a 2-year part-time program that is a QF Level 3 program, and it is a introduction program. So this is for those that don't have a science background but want to go into the MLT field. Then the DipLab program is right for you. So in this program, we will teach all the basics from what is laboratory science, some basic lab skills, and also the biomedical science behind it. So human anatomy, biochemistry, molecular genetics, and immunology. Next, we will talk about lab management and what it's like to run a lab and what are the importance of quality assurance. And finally, we will go into detail in the integrated laboratory science studies to talk about the 4 disciplines. We have the medical microbiology, hematology and serology, clinical biochemistry, and histopathology and cytology. And so the admission requirements is, as I mentioned, it's a introductory course, so it's relatively broad admission. So if you have a DSE level or HKCC level, is good enough to apply. And so for here, we have the application fee and the program fee. So most of our programs have a staggered program fee. So in this case, because it is a 2-year program, then you pay for the first program at admission, and year 2 you will pay once at the start of year 2. So the next application will be in the end of June, and the intake will begin in September of 2023. And if you have any questions, you can contact our colleagues here. So next, we'll talk about higher certificate in medical laboratory science. And so this is a professional program, also a 2-year program, 2-year part-time program. And with this, we call HTC for short. With this program, students who graduate from this program are able to register under Part 2 of the HKMLT board and are licensed to practice medical laboratories. And in Hong Kong, this is the only part-time program for those that want to register in under the MLT board. So the program structure. So there are 3 core modules. We have biochemistry, physiology, and integrated medical laboratory studies. And the students can pick one elective, all of the 4 disciplines I mentioned before. And so students that pick one elective will also study the other 3 electives in the integrated medical laboratory studies. So as I mentioned, once students graduate with the HTC, they can register under the MLT board as a Part 2 MLT. And for the admission requirements, it's actually quite broad as well. So students with HKDSE or actually in HKCEE can apply. But because this program is actually expected to be a workplace, on top of a workplace training program, so students must have at least 2 years of working experience in a practical laboratory. So they have to work in a related field. And students should supply reference from their employers, especially describing what they do in the lab. However, these are just the minimum application requirements. In the recent cohorts, we've seen that most applicants already have a degree, so a BSc, or maybe even a master's or a PhD. So it's actually quite competitive. So for students that are looking to apply, you should also consider what qualifications that you have to make yourself more competitive. And so next, this is the application fee and the program fee. Please note this is the program fee from the last cohort. We have not confirmed the program fees yet for the next intake in 2024. So yeah, as I mentioned, so the next intake of HTC will be in September 2024, and applications start in February. Next, we have the degree program, the BSc Hons in Biological Science. So this is a program that's done in collaboration with Edinburgh Napier University. And so it is a part-time program, also 2 years part-time. And it is aimed for students that have a higher diploma or associate degree in biological science that want to top up to a full degree. So the next intake will be in September 2023. And as I mentioned, it's over 2 calendar years, in which we will teach 11 modules. And students can exit by the completion of first year with an ordinary degree. But if they complete this both years, then they will receive the BSc honors degree. And these are the modules that are taught in the program. The first year, we have immunology, and genetics, inheritance, infection and immunity, food microbiology, and biotechnology, research methods, and clinical biochemistry. In year 2, we have molecular medicine, pharmacology and pathobiology, microbiology, microbial biotechnology, applied toxicology, and a final research project. So as you can see, it's a broad range of modules. So it's not just focused on the medical laboratory science field, but also in other areas of biology as well. And as I mentioned, the admission requirements. So students should have a higher diploma or associate degree in a related field, or other equivalent qualifications. And this program is also an English language program. And these are the application and program fees for this coming intake. So the BSc will start the new intake in September 2023, and the application deadline is the end of June. So next, we'll talk about certificate in microbiology testing. So this is a slightly different program. It is a one-year part-time program. It's for those who want to become a approved signatory for microbiology testing. This is a approved course for the Hong Kong Accreditation Services, HKAS. So this is a 3-module program that will start with the basics of microbiology testing, learning about aseptic techniques and the different types of testing, looking at food microbial testing, water microbial testing, and also relevant quality assurances, and also different case studies for how to apply these microbiology testing techniques. And for the admission requirements, is also quite broad. It's those from graduates from HTC, those with higher diploma or associate degrees, and or just other registered MLTs can also apply. And again, this program fees. And the next intake for the certificate in microbiology testing will be in January of 2024. The deadline will be confirmed soon. Next, I will pass to my colleague, Dr. Tian, to talk about MSc program.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. So good afternoon, everyone, again. I'm going to present a few more programs. The first one is the master program. As Keith just introduced, that we have different level of programs. We have diploma, which aim at introductory level, and then we also have a professional training, which is called higher certificate in medical laboratories science. So that's really for the student or for the individuals who decide to develop a career in medical laboratory, in the laboratory of a hospital. So you need to study this program, get license, get registered with the MLT, Medical Laboratory Technologist Board, who are eligible to work in this lab. Basically, you are eligible to handle human sample or animal sample in a lab only after you get the license to practice. Well, we also have top-up BSc degree, which is in collaboration with Edinburgh Napier University. And then another program just introduced is microbiology testing, which focuses on the microbiology for testing lab. So that's different levels. Well, the next one, the even higher level, a postgraduate level program, is this Master of Science in Biomedical Science. So similar to BSc, it's also in collaboration with Edinburgh Napier University located at UK. So this is a 2-year part-time program at master level. So this program, because we call it in collaboration with Edinburgh Napier University, so the final award is given by, we call ENU, Edinburgh Napier University. Normally, this program we call 2-year, but slightly longer than 2 years, because finally in the second year you would do a final year project, and then that may take up to about September, and then after that it's already 2 years, because it's from September to September. And then after we confirm all the result, it could be about 3 more months. Normally this program has 2 lectures per week on Tuesday evenings and Friday evenings. So sometimes on Saturday we would arrange practical sessions for students to do some hands-on experiments. Well, so what shall student expected to learn from this program? And then this program, of course, is at master level. So it's not focused on the very basic science knowledge. It would provide the student more critical thinking, critical knowledge in both of theory and practice in biomedical science. So there are 6 taught modules in this program. Each module carry 20 credit, and then plus the final research module. So it's over 2 years, so you can see that the study pace is not that fast. It's okay, actually, only 2 weeks, 2 evenings per week. But because it's master level, and we would expect students not only come and listen to teacher and try to memorize all the lecture, all the topics, but we also expect students to spend some time to do literature search, to do some self-study, because that's master level. It's not what teacher teach you and then you just remember everything. You have to learn how to self-study. So it also covers some of the medical or biomedical area, like hematology, which is about blood, like microbiology. We have applied medical microbiology module. Maybe I use my mouse to point here, and pathology, and the technology of immuno test. So those are more biomedical related. And then we also have this molecular biology, which is quite widely used nowadays in diagnosis, as well as scientific skills. So basically scientific skills would like to prepare students for the final year project. So there's some skills of how to plan, how to prepare for a research project, and then some basic skills like statistics, like use software to analyze data. Those will be covered in scientific skills module. And then finally, there would be a huge research module, which normally is double the size of a normal study period, so which carries 60 credit. The teachers, so for this MSc program, we have a very strong team. We invite the lecturers from, of course, our partner, Edinburgh University. And we also have many teachers from local universities, those academic staff from like HKU, from PolyU, and other universities. And we invite those physicians, clinicians in local hospitals to share the knowledge of their clinical experience, of the diagnosis of disease. We also invite those professionals in biomedical science or in medical laboratory, such as the senior medical technologists or the scientific officers, to share their view or their experience from a technological aspect or from research aspect. We will also invite guest lecture from overseas universities, like from King's College, from King's College London, from Imperial College. So we invite those active researcher or those very experienced lecturer to share their experience, to share their research findings with us. Well, in the final year project, the supervisor are all research active staff in local universities. So they may they may have a biology background or medical background, or in research of biomedical science. So the background of supervisors or the coverage of research project is quite diverse in our program. It consists of both lab-based, experimental-based project, and some data analysis bioinformatic-based project. So students may choose a project from a whole list based on your interest. Well, career for this MSc. Okay, this program is designed for those who wish to progress to a senior position in medical laboratory. Basically, our target students are those who are already working in the medical laboratory, but after accumulate a few years working experience, and then decided to go up to climb up the ladder for their career. But of course, this program also suitable for those graduates from a biology degree, from biotechnology degree, and then want to advance your knowledge before joining any career. That's also a good opportunity for you. So for our graduates, they got, we got a good record from our students who, after completion this program, that this program helped them in the career advancements for in medical laboratories. So for those students who was like associate medical technologist, after completion of this program within a short period of time, I can't say definitely within 1 year or within 2 years, but with a certain time frame, they got promoted to a higher level. And then for those who work in like private labs, they also got a chance after get a master degree, which the knowledge and the experience learned in this program help them to progress to be promoted to a higher level. Well, entry requirements. Well, actually, although the figures here looks a bit complicated, but the principle is pretty simple. It's a master program, so we expect you to have a degree, already got a BSc degree in biological related area. So if you are a honors degree holder in biological science, or maybe in biotechnology, in biochemistry, or even in biomedical science, then normally it's already fulfilled the entry requirement. Of course, Keith just introduced that BSc honors in biological science, which also in collaboration with Edinburgh Napier University. So for students who complete this program, 2 years program, got an honors degree, then yes, you are eligible to apply to study MSc. Well, there's the ordinary degree holder also for our own BSc honors in BSc biological science. If you complete only year 1, yes, you can graduate, but with an ordinary degree, so no honors project. Then you are eligible to apply, but we would expect you to have at least 2 years working experience. But this 2 years working experience, normally it should be after you got the ordinary degree, the BSc degree already. And then you have to work in relevant areas. So preferable, you are working in a medical lab, or maybe in biological or biomedical research lab. So you got relevant working experience, then it helps you to apply to this program. And then for other students, like if you just get a higher diploma or associate degree, or only a higher certificate but without other degree, then we would highly recommend you to study a BSc first, and then come to our master. Actually, according to past years' experience, the majority of students would like to do this BSc because that's a part-time program. So when they do the BSc program, they can also work in the lab, gain some working experience, and then after that, they may continue to work in the lab for a few more years to accumulate more working experience, and then get a higher qualification at master level. So that helps them to get promotion, to get a career advancement. So okay, back to the very essential information, application and fees. So applications procedure are the same as other programs. You probably can go to our website, get the application form, and then submit the form. The program fee, that's a 2-year program, so we have this fee in general is 78,000 per year. But in the second year, we would separate to 2 installments to be paid in the second year to cover the total module as well as the project module. So the fees here listed, suppose for the coming intake, tentative we will open the coming intake in on 20th of September. And now the program is open for application. So the application deadline is by the end of this month. So if you have interest, and then if you got relevant degree already, so please apply through the link. And if you have any question, you can always contact us by calling us or by email us. For anything you can ask, like whether your qualification is good enough, or do I need any other program, any other experience before I can apply? Yes, you just email us so we can help you to check. Okay, so just now we introduced some of our existing program, and then the coming two programs are the new programs that has not been launched yet, but we plan to launch in the coming academic year. So basically that's after July we will launch this program. The first program I would like to introduce is the postgraduate certificate in bioinformatics for medical laboratory technologists. Well, this program, actually from the title, you already can see that, okay, the level is postgraduate level. We, again, expect you already have a degree. And then this program is in bioinformatics, so basically how to use computer to help you to analyze those data. And then the target student are those medical laboratory technologists who are working in the lab who may need to deal with this sequence data, like DNA data, RNA data, protein data. It's a 9-month part-time program. So here is some intended learning outcomes. So basically, that's what you can get after you complete, after the completion of this program. So first of all, we do bioinformatics. We analyze biological data. So those data normally from the sequencing, from the DNA, from our genomic data. So the first step is students are eligible to understand those genomic technologies. So where are the data generated from? So that's the first learning outcome. And then the second learning outcome is to retrieve those data, those genomic sequence from existing database and software. So that's I would say a pretty straightforward step. That if you want to analyze the data, you have to be able to access relevant database, get reference results for analysis. So that's the learning outcome. So you will be able to handle those relevant software skills and then access those database. Well, it's bioinformatics. Okay, we are not training those computer scientists, so we won't focus on programming, but we would learn some very fundamental skills of computer program, of computer script for data analysis. Most of the software, most of the analysis will be done by existing software, but we will teach students some fundamental principle of those computer program. So at least you can modify, you can revise those script, those program where necessary to fit the use, the purpose of your own lab. And then the last step is application. The aim of this program, again, is not train you as a computer scientist. Is how to use the software, how to use bioinformatic tool to analyze those clinical data. So we would focus on the application and then try to use for clinical diagnosis. So here are 4 modules within this 9-month part-time program. Those 4 modules are pretty aligned to the learning outcomes. So the first module focuses on the technique, so you know where these data are generated from. Like you probably heard about sequencing, next generation sequencing data, or even real-time PCR, all those genomic technologies. And then the second module, you will learn what is bioinformatics, what are the computer environment needed to set up bioinformatics, what are the existing database software used in bioinformatics. Well, module 3, you have to learn some basic programming, basic computer skill of data analysis. In this program, we would use a program called R for data analysis. If you have some knowledge in this area, you know R is very powerful in statistics, in data analysis, and there are many existing packages written by the experts online for you to use and analyze the data. So that's why we choose this software. You don't need to modify too much. You can get the existing package for your own data. Well, the last module focused on application. We invite the expert from a different area to teach you how to analyze the data from a certain area. Like in the past 3 years, that the pandemic, a lot of data about COVID sequence, different strains, different variants of this COVID virus. So how could the lab detect which strain, which variant of this virus, this infection? How could we know whether the infection happens like within the ward, within the hospital, or is it individual case, not relevant, or maybe there's a case from overseas. So can we trace back where this case come from? So that's where bioinformatics applied in microbiology. So similarly, we would also learn those data analysis for like tumor, for prenatal diagnosis. So that's the application in last module. Well, this program planned to be launched in August. So if you have interest to this program, you may check our website for any updated information. Well, another new program, Advanced Diploma in Bioscience. So this program actually almost passed all the validation process. That's our internal process for a new program. So it's at the last step. This program pitched at QF level 4. So QF level 4 is equivalent to the old A level, advanced level course, or the year 1 of a degree program. So that's we call it QF level 4. This program is again 2-year part-time, which brings 120 credit. So basically, this program we aim to provide you some scientific knowledge of biological science, which help those students who have no background in science or in biological science to be able to progress to BSc, to the top-up degree in biology, and then further to like MSc, or who would like to go to professional development, then may be able to apply HTC program after you got a degree. So if you remember at the beginning, Keith introduced the diploma in laboratory science. So that's also an introductory level. What's the difference between these two programs? I think this program will focus more on the science content. So basically, bioscience or biological science. Well, the other program covers more of professional development. So basically, the laboratory science. So that's more applied, and then this one is more theoretical. But we also cover some of the practical module in this program. So again, program intended learning outcome. Well, because this program, the level aims to train those without biology-related background. So the first learning outcome is to enable students to describe and discuss biological topics by using appropriate scientific terminology in English and Chinese. So if you studied biology before, or you have some background information of biology, you know about biology as a science subject. It got many special terms describe, like the names of different organs, the name of different function, different reaction, and those chemicals used, those reagents used. So for the first time that you come to study biology, then we would expect you to learn those terms to help you to understand all the biology process. Well, the second learning outcome is that you would be able to explain those principles and functions of biological process. So what's happening, you should be able to understand fundamental biology. Well, the third learning outcomes is to interpret those chemical basis of biological structure, reactions, and the metabolism. If you know, then we call this biochemistry. So how those chemical reactions happen in our body, in our cell, can finally support all the process of no matter human or other live animals or plants. So that's again very scientific subject topics. Well, learning outcome 4 is that we expect you to be able to apply biotechnology and then to do some experiments which help you to understand and explain those biological functions. So as I just said, we do have experimental component in this module. In this program. And then learning outcome number 5 is that to discuss and develop findings of biological science from a scientific perspective. So basically, that's how you interpret those results in a more scientific way, like scientific report, or you can read, you can understand, and then how you can express, how you can interpret those results in science content. So that's another important topic, which basically prepare you to study advanced level of biology. Well, the last one is to discuss and interpret those applications of biology. So this one, we learned all the science background of biology. We understand the scientific theory of biology. Then how it's related to our daily life, that will also covered in this program. So here are the list of modules. We don't have very big modules, so we have separated that to 16 smaller modules. So you may see that we have the English for bioscience, and that covers those terminology. We have introduction to biology. We have basic biotechnology. These teach you those fundamentals of biology. We also have science communications, which teach you how to interpret, how to understand the science content in a professional way. We also have those applied module called like biology and society. Also, we have some nutritional science, evolution and biodiversity. So to show you, to help you to understand all those fundamental biology knowledge in related to our society. So that we hope from this applied module help you to understand why we learn biology, why biology is important to human life. Of course, later you would learn, you would after you study more, then you would know more about how it's related to maybe health, how it's related to disease. Well, that would be the next step when you come to biomedical science, to the maybe master level. But from at very beginning, from this program, we would help students to establish that you are not only learn a science, you are not only study, but you learn something which can be related to our daily life and improve human lives. So we plan to launch this program in October. So yeah, basically that's this new program, Advanced Diploma in Bioscience. As I said, this program is equivalent to probably the first year of a degree program. We also have a plan to develop other new program, maybe equivalent to year 2 of the degree program. So later, after we launch the second new program, even you have no biology, no chemistry background, you can take this advanced diploma, accumulate enough knowledge, then you probably have the chance to go to a top-up degree. So you complete everything study in part-time. So basically, this program aims to those who are already working but without science background or without biological science background, but want to change your career or develop your career in biology-related area. Even for those who are working in like business, in finance-related area, if your business would related to biotechnology, it's also a good program for you to understand more fundamental biology knowledge. So okay, we have other programs. We have other smaller programs, workshops, short courses. So if you have interest, or if you are already in the field but want to develop more knowledge in relevant area, so you may go to our website. We have other programs, so you can find from the list. So yeah, I think that's the end of our presentation. So basically, we share our requirements, our content of different programs. So thank you, everyone. I think now is the time for questions. Do we have any ongoing questions?
Okay, so we have one online question. So is it a must to have employment experience to enroll in higher certificate in medical laboratory science? So the answer to that is yes. You must have working experience to apply for the higher certificate in medical laboratory science, because this program was designed as a on-the-job training for those that are already working in medical laboratory. So yes, it is requirements. And so if you don't have any employment experience right now, so I guess, well, the first step is to find a, uh, a job that's in a related field. So for example, obviously you can work as maybe a laboratory assistant, or maybe patient care assistant in a hospital. But we also consider experience in other areas. So maybe working as a research assistant in a research lab, or maybe well, yeah, there are many different types of labs in Hong Kong that are related to the medical field.
Yeah,
So-
but to supplement, if you work in a research lab, that research lab should related to human research or clinical research. It should not be a pure science research lab. Then that would be a bit difficult, because the reason behind is that we expect students to have some exposure, have some experience in related area in medical laboratory science. So you have to work in the lab relevant to medical laboratory. Okay, so basically that's the principle. Yeah.
Okay. So we have another question for the BSc in biological science. How frequent is the laboratory class? So in terms of laboratory practical classes, it's about maybe around two lab classes per module at most. But some modules don't have laboratory class at all. So I guess you could say in total there's about 6 laboratory classes spread out over about 1 year. And the class schedule, generally the classes are 2 days a week, and occasionally some Saturdays for the practical classes. But depending on the trimester, we have different teaching schedules. So it may be different days of the week, but it's at most 2 or 3 days a week.
Any question from the audience in the classroom?
I think that might also uh, be related to what you want to aim for in your career. So the diploma in laboratory science program is more aimed towards those that want to go eventually into the medical laboratory science. So if that is what you're aiming for, then yes, I could see that's a course that's suitable for you.
Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah. In the past 3 years, yes, we have a lot of online classes, but now we almost all classes has been resumed face to face. Yeah, so it's a face to face class. The reason is according to our discussion with most of the teachers, teacher found it's more efficient for face-to-face teaching, because they can see if students understand or not, so they can maybe emphasize the important point in the class. But online, sometimes they cannot see if student looks confused or not. So that's the rationale. Yeah.
Add on to that. So one exemption to the face-to-face classes is for the BSc and the MSc program. We do have some lectures that are taught by overseas lecturers, maybe in Edinburgh Napier University or other overseas universities, and those may be online. But we also try to arrange for them to come to teach in person as well.
Yeah. Again, that was because of COVID. So in the past 3 years, they cannot come. There's no chance for them to come. So we all convert to online. But now, I mean, everyone can come. So we are considering, if possible, we would invite them to come and deliver lectures, even for those overseas guest speakers. Yeah.
We have another question. So can students that graduate from year one BSc apply to register as MLT?
Okay. Theoretically, no, because BSc is not a recognized professional training for MLT. But if you apply, it's not applied to space, right? It's if you want to become a registered medical laboratory technologist, you have to apply to Medical Laboratory Technologist Board. So the board has their own consideration. They will review your academic background, including this BSc. Of course, you have other, maybe you already have another degree or have other higher diploma and working experience. Then the board will review all the qualifications and decide if you can register or not. But I mean, yes, we had some students graduate with BSc and get registration, but that's very rare case. It's probably because they have other qualification, they have other experience which support them for the registration. So with BSc only, no, we can't say that you are eligible to register. So if you have the career plan to become a MLT, if you want to study in part-time, now the only and the best option is to study the higher certificate in medical laboratory science. Yeah, I hope that answer help. Any other questions? If no more question, then I think that would be the end of this seminar. Thank you everyone for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.